I
Okay,
thought you were
and
live.
it says we are live now.
Says it now.
Um, so well, welcome to the stream, everybody. Apparently, as you
Welcome
can
to the
all
shit show.
read,
Fuck this year, by the way.
in due time, in due time. So, uh, actually, mandatory. Since you can actually read the article while I'm doing the stream, go ahead and give the audience the introductory piece to this utter shit show, because I know you had a lot to say about this particular
Fuck this guy.
shenanigans. Well, would you mind filling them in?
Yeah, well, yeah, I should probably explain to people why I say fuck this guy in his ass.
How
With
hard?
no lube. All
No
right.
lube?
No lube. Oh, God, no. All right. So here we go. God, you bloody fucking kidding me. You had to get a paywall site?
Oh my gosh, I apologize.
Yeah,
Um,
let just you two talk shit for a second, and I'll dig this up from a different, reliable
okay,
source.
so his name is John Sullivan, and he was at the
Earl
Capitol.
Sullivan. Don
He
Earl Sullivan.
wait, what?
Don Earl Sullivan.
Yeah, his name is John Sullivan, and he was at the Capitol shouting, uh, "Burn this shit down! We own this bitch!" Like all of like the literal incendiary, literally violent rhetoric that that the left has been leveling at the right for literally since the dawn of time, apparently. And turns out
Close.
he is not on the right whatsoever. He is an activist for the other side. Surprise,
Oh, you ready?
surprise.
I got it.
You got it?
I got it. This is
All right.
townhall.com.
Take it away.
So it is by a source. Take it with a grain of salt. Utah man with a history of organizing violent Antifa BLM protests was inside the Capitol. We're beginning to learn more about the individuals who were inside the U.S. Capitol on Wednesday. A young man named John Sullivan was there. He's from Utah and the founder of Insurgents USA, which is a group dedicated to, oh God, I dedicated to racial justice and police reform. According to numerous news reports, he has a history of organizing leftist protests and identifies with Black Lives Matter. Over the summer,
Uh,
Sullivan was arrested after organizing a violent riot in Utah that ended in a shooting. One of the host groups was Salt Lake Antifa, Antifa Coalition. I'm going to skip over Desert News. At the U.S.
Okay.
Capitol, Sullivan was standing next to Trump supporter Ashley Babbitt. Oh, okay. When she was shot and killed by a police officer. In fact, he filmed it. Oh, wow. That's what
Yeah.
he filmed.
fuck.
Yeah.
Um, okay. I'm just going to read one of the tweets, inclusive, by Heidi Hatch, TV Heidi Hatch. Does that name mean anything to you?
Doesn't mean
John
anything to
Sullivan,
me.
known on the Utah protest scene, was inside the U.S. Capitol. He got in through a broken window. He says he was there to document the protest. No matter what he watched, a woman died and now could face charges. Okay, I'm going to stop there and bring you all up to a little bit more. There was a CNN reporter who broke into the White House during the riot phase of the protest, which was before Donnie was done speaking. All right, so the two are not connected. This guy filmed them breaking in, getting into, and she's all excited and happy. We made it, we did it. You said we would do it. Oh, yep, I said we would do it. And now, apparently later on, he's one of the ones trying to break into the uh, Senate chambers. Was it the Senate chambers? Oh, congressional chambers. Um,
It was both.
while okay, while the three at least cops with the M16s came up behind the crowd, chasing them, where their only escape route now was through those windows, which is when Ashley got shot. And some
Yep.
of those people were actually tourists, although there's some dispute with Ashley a tourist or was she a protester, has now come to question. Some of the people in that passageway, some of the people trying to get through that window were fucking tourists. And now they got three guys with M16s behind them and a guy with a probably 9mm in front of them, waiting for them to finish breaking through the window so he could shoot them.
And
Holy
that's why
de-escalation,
we,
guys! Great job.
yeah, that's why we say mostly peaceful.
Most
Mostly peaceful. Oh my
and
gosh.
if this story is describing the individual I think it is, he's actually one of the ones trying to smash the glass in at one point.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course he was. That's not surprising whatsoever.
No, no. I'm sorry. No, he's not. He's not one of the ones trying to bash the glass in.
You had to get my hopes up.
I did, and well, because there was somebody who was wearing a mask, a black guy who was wearing a mask, who was trying to one of the ones trying to bash the glass in, and they're talking about him being right next to her, which the guy I'm talking about was like maybe 3 feet away.
Yeah, yeah.
This photograph does not show him holding the anything to bash glass in with. You know what? I don't know when this photograph was taken versus when the glass was being broken. So don't totally dash your hopes entirely. Fuck this guy. Where is he? Is I need is
Yeah. It's the point is he had a violent history. We
very.
know who he was. We know the kind of things that he organizes. Things go way into left field, and we now have a good suspect as to who is responsible for it going way down in left field. And as we see in the comments below, they let him go without bail.
Oh, they
Where
rearrested him. He has been
did
rearrested.
he has been rearrested?
Yep. Same charges.
Did say that again? You were away
Revoked.
from the mic.
Same charges. I don't know if they revoked bail or what, but he went right back in.
Interesting. So as we speak, he is behind bars.
That is the last I heard. Yes.
Okay, because I know of a few other of the protesters who some of them were let go, some of them weren't. Uh, but another issue is nearly all of them, or most of the people that we know of so far, um, they've lost their employment. Like people are losing their jobs over being identified and harassed and having their employers called. So this is this is affecting people's daily lives is what I'm trying to get to. And we're trying to get information. I actually had Spicy P write up a document about those who have been arrested and charged, and those who have. We have those who have arrested, those who have been charged. This is just the beginning of that list, and we have. I'm hoping to get the information on their where they'll be arraigned, where they're being held, so we can start writing letters. I'm working on a template for these people so that we can start something like a change.org thing, or a just something that people can print up, sign, and send to their local representatives. Some anything to help these people out who actually need it, not this guy, because there have apparently been accusations or charges about people saying that they brought weapons and ammunition and all this stuff, and it's all conveniently tucked in a van and was never used. And you're like, okay, sure. They stormed the Capitol intending to shoot it up and bomb it, but forgot to and left everything in the van. Yeah, sure. Because that's how that works. Let's but no, I'm getting resources together for people to bounce back, so that at least their fellow countrymen have a say in uh, what happens to them. So that's what we're currently working on. Me personally, I sent all of my information to also to Don the Pleb, so they can get a start on this as well. But right now, I just need more information, which I currently don't have. Um, and it for me, this is just I didn't know he had been rearrested. I thought that he was still, the last I heard, this individual was still out on bail. And I I know of several others who are not out on bail. I know of at least one Proud Boy who who had to sign a bail note saying, I don't have any money, but I still need to get out. They had to sign a bail note on this, and to have their freedom back, which means they own the bonds. They owe the bondsman a shit ton of money. Is essentially what that means. And
That's
so
exactly what I mean.
it's it's an absolute cluster. It's what Doodle here is saying. So so yeah, there our yes, Bebo, we're talking about John Sullivan. Do you know if he's still in, if he was rearrested or if he's walking free? Bebo's a regular to this channel. He comments frequently. He's also in the Discord, so if he wants to jump in, he can do so. We'll see what he so chooses. But anyways, so yeah, that's where that's at right now. And
Yeah, that might be correct. He might have been released, ROR'd out, but he was rearrested when they realized who this guy really. This is the shooter from the Provo, Utah protest when the driver was shot. Basically, well, he was shot at, and
he was the
he
shooter.
slammed on the what?
He was the shooter.
He was the shooter.
Holy shit.
Yeah. No, we can't identify him. Well, you got him now.
Holy crap.
Yeah. This guy is a
Holy.
real. Hey, um, this guy's a real awesome example of humanity.
So
He's
so wow.
definitely behind that unite um message.
Oh. And yet
Hypocritical piece.
and yet
Yeah, what?
it's our fault that things went sideways.
Yeah, of course, of course.
It was our side that made things go sideways. Holy and this is there are noises in Congress that John Haley and Ted Cruz are going to be driven out of Congress, to which I can only say, hang on, boys, hang on for dear life, because no one else wants you to go. No one else
Yeah.
wants you to say give up. No one else wants you to say be ashamed and go on with your tail between your legs. No one's saying that. So I'll let you guys talk for a second. I'll be right back.
AOC is definitely saying exactly that. But then
Mm.
again, I mean, I'd skull fuck the shit out of that bitch, but I wouldn't trust any word that came out of her mouth.
I'll put a paper bag over her head first, then fuck her.
Oh no, she's legitimately pretty. All right, that's all she's got
Yep.
going. You know, it's just and she's a collie. Very, very pretty. Very, very stupid.
I'll be right back.
Oh crap! And I gotta defend this channel by myself now. And I'm trying to work on my thing. Um, Jaden X on Twitter. Disavowed. Yes. Actually, that's the CNN reporter. Thank you. Um, and John Sullivan was released again. They just rearrested him with the GPS. Okay. Well, that's totally fucking worthless. All right. And don't ask me how, but I know they're totally fucking worthless. Um, and no, I've never had one. But yeah, might as well have just said, yeah, well, considering all the circumstances, we're just going to go ahead and call it King's X. Let's give him a fucking GPS. Jesus Christ. The fuck is
Yeah,
going
and
on there?
it's totally insane that we're letting literally violent actors out back into the public, especially when they're clearly not right wing. They are clearly not on the right. They're clearly not part of the Trump supporter base. They're
Hold on.
clearly the
Hold on.
opposite. Go on.
Oh, what difference does it make which side they were on if they were violent?
It doesn't. It's who's
Okay.
taking the fall for the violence.
Okay. Just
That
sometimes you gotta establish precedent. Oh fuck! I used to know back when I had some degree of law training.
but no,
This
it's
this this reminds me of something what Count Dankler said recently.
Huh?
what like
Matt,
He
context
said
doesn't
right.
matter.
no.
No.
He said free speech is good and all, but violence doesn't. You'll be considered idiot if you do violence,
Yeah.
and people won't take your ideas seriously.
Well, I mean, I heard an interesting point on Sargon's stream is, after all of this erupted, after Congress clearly saw that the American people were not having their shit, um, they're, the look, they won the presidency, they won the Senate, they won the House, and now they're acting like they're terrified. They are acting like they are scared of the nation that they've been asked to run, to the point that they have to clamp down and delegitimize their opposition. That's what tyrants do. Because if you
Mm.
honestly won this election, you'd be gleeful. You'd be like, oh, look at this minority peasantry. The rest of the people disagreed with you. Please go away. That's not what they're doing. Like they have no faith in the numbers of their base, and that is extremely telling. That is extremely telling. And as Alex says, yes, they are scared of us, and that's something to celebrate. However, blind justice is dead. They have doubled down on their double standards, and that is something that will surely be yet another catalyst for violence in the future. And who's to say whether or not that violence is justified or not? Because when we have a government and a party who has literally seized pretty much all power, um, and they're acting not like they're part of a democracy, uh, people are not going to respond positively to this. Like, if you keep oppressing the minority that you have blatantly oppressed, who don't believe that you're legitimate, your only option is to either relinquish the power you've gained by nefarious means, which they won't, or you try to control your opposition by violent means, which will only create more violence. So
Oh yeah.
I don't see this working very well. Now, look, if there are elections, you should go vote. You should absolutely you should stay plugged into that system. However, after Biden is inaugurated, um, as soon as they start passing gun control laws, I don't know when or if we're going to have an election ever again. Uh, because what comes out of this? There's not going to be a consensus. There's not going to be um, an agreement with the populace that this is the direction the country should go. In fact, one could argue that the country voted in the other direction, and yet they're literally rubbing it in our faces that they took power and there's nothing we can do about it. And that is that's not that is not going to take us to a very good place. It's not going to take us to a very good place at all. So where else have we seen the blind justice being dead? Have either two of you observed this in any other examples?
Living
Um,
history?
Yes, living history, like
I live in history.
the past 2 weeks, give or take.
I must have missed what you're talking about. The last 2 weeks?
Yeah. Any other examples of blind justice being dead? We
Oh,
have disavowed. Go on.
hold on to that. I
Okay.
thought for a minute. I actually, we can get into that deep, deep, deep into that. It's
Okay.
more than you.
Um, I'm there probably is that's why I asked for input. But real quick, disavowed says, "What do you think of the NRA claiming bankruptcy? It's about fucking time. It's about time that the American people realize that the NRA was pro Second Amendment in name only. Um,
No, 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 no. It's much more complicated than that.
I know
Well,
it's
you want
more
to do that right now?
complicated.
Do you want
Sure.
to do that right now, or do you want to get into whatever it is you're talking about from the last 2 weeks?
For the last 2 weeks first, and then we'll go into the NRA.
Um, I'm sorry, Karin. I'm missing what you're talking about.
The last 2 weeks, sir. Let's do that first,
Yeah.
and
What
then
happened
we'll.
in the last 2 weeks that you're talking about?
What I'm talking about are events where blind justice is dead,
Okay.
and where there's been an exacerbation of the double standards of our ruling class.
So you're talking about John?
Well, not just John, but I'm also talking about members of Congress, particularly the right, cucking to the left, cucking to the Democrats, and then we're talking about the removal, or not the removal, but the how do you call it? The encouragement of Ted Cruz and Josh Haley to step down. We have a host of we have Don Lemon on CNN claiming that
Fuck
BLM
Don.
was what, yeah, exactly, claiming that these events are not comparable because one was born out of racial inequality and a call for justice. Well, these are completely unjustified on the myth of voter fraud, and you're sitting here
Oh,
going,
fuck off.
this is the largest
Ow.
case of projection I have ever fucking. Could you be any more clown world in one sentence?
Yes, he
Like
could. He tried.
he, yes.
He's succeeded.
uh, but no, we have Don Lemon on live TV telling the normies that you can't equate Antifa with what happened on Capitol Hill, and I would agree. Antifa is far more delegitimate. They have no moral case in a democratic system, and the stats for quote unquote how would you call it, like racial abuse from police is staggeringly low. And then we have, by comparison, the claims that there's no legitimate claim to there being voter fraud in this election, despite expert testimony that Giuliani and Sidney Powell have secured from literal tech experts. We even had during the Georgia election a live demonstration during the election of them linking up to the Dominion Smartmatic system and changing its results because it was online and you could connect to it. Like, there's so much projection here. I can't even begin. I don't even know where to begin. They're pretending like this Capitol Hill was not legitimate, and that Antifa was, and therefore these are two different things, and that Antifa was justified. Like, you can't argue with these people. They are living in clown world. Like, they are living in an alternate reality. So,
Yep.
If only.
oh, if only, indeed. So, what else have I missed, gentlemen? What else is there that I have clearly skimmed over? Because this one particular case really really burned me, because you have a legitimate violent asshole walking free, no bail. I'm sure he has a nice anklet to show for his nice stay in the police accommodations, but still, as Bebo says, they will likely give him a job at the New York Times at the end of this, rather than anything serious happening to him. So, how do we address this?
Oh, I got something what doesn't. I didn't know where to fit this news in. You know the neo-pagan guy?
What?
Who?
The neo-pagan fella from Capitol Hill?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, this is with dingleberries.
yeah
That fella.
yeah
Okay.
the horn guy, the Q shaman.
Q shaman.
Apparently he's been treated really well in prison.
Oh,
I don't think he should be in prison. Like,
what was
Yeah,
he
if the guy's
arrested
in
for?
prison, I don't know.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, apparently he's been given religious freedoms to have organic food and stuff, apparently.
Guy's a freak.
Yeah.
well, why do we call
I'm not
him?
aware of him being a criminal, though. What?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he should be behind bars. That's my whole contention. Like, I don't think that watching all of the violence, all of the riots from the left, and then having the left establishment, all of the attorney generals, and all of the other people connected with those riots and those protests, letting Antifa go, and then for someone who is as harmless and as benign as the Q shaman to show up and just say, "Hey, we were let in. We're here. Let's take a couple of pictures. Let's have a little photo ops. Let's have a little fun." For them to be treated like they're legitimate terrorists and insurrectionists is complete shit. Like, it is that he should not be behind bars at all. And yet
No,
we have what? No, what?
no, he shouldn't be behind bars.
I yeah, then that's what I'm saying is we have this blatant double standard, and the left and the establishment seem to be doubling down on it. And if you're going to have such soft gloves with Antifa, um I'm not saying the right should have expected it, but the right should certainly start demanding it. And that's where I'm going with this. The right should start demanding the liberation of their activists, and learning and embracing the left's tactic of saying, we're not putting up with this shit anymore, or else. And again, in addition, with all other things going on in the country, the left has created a standard that when the right tries to seize for itself, will only cause more violence and contention. And yeah, we also talk about Nick Ox, like we talked about the Proud Boy from Hawaii getting out, but he had to post a signatory bail, which essentially means yes, he's out, yes, he's free and walking, but he still has a shit ton of money to pay. And I'm pretty certain that this guy that they let out without bail and a nice little piece of jewelry to show for his trouble, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have that burden, and that's what upsets me, Bebo. There's a clear there's still clear preferential treatment to the left, especially when the right's taking the fall for it still.
This is ridiculous.
Of course, yeah.
Yep.
And it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. And the question is, why is the right still putting up with it? And they shouldn't. They shouldn't put up with it. This is not blind justice. This is not what we signed up for. There should not be a society where one group gets preferential treatment and everyone else gets the book thrown at them and gets treated like they're literally second class citizens. Q Shaman is literally a second class citizen to Antifa. So that's where I'm at
And
with
he
this,
didn't even
guys.
do anything.
No, he didn't. He honestly didn't. And yet we have we have John Sullivan, who has literally shot at people, who might have even broken a window into the Capitol, who filmed Ashley Babbitt getting shot, and yet all he gets is a nice piece of jewelry.
And
Fuck this
he
guy.
helped to orchestrate the shooting. I'm just going to go there. He helped to orchestrate that shooting.
Yeah.
I know he didn't do everything, but you know, the Nazis never worked by one person doing everything. Everybody in that system had one little job to do. And they all knew their little job. You know, you put a canister into a tube, you close a door, you direct people off a train. You don't do everything, so you're not responsible for anything. John, his job was to just start some shit so that the cops get all upset and excited and shooting people randomly. That was his job, and he did a damn good job of it.
Hmm.
Well,
I'd really love to see where this supposed flashbang, because I don't think it was a flashbang, and I'm pretty sure I know which side didn't or which group didn't use it.
yeah, we got chat going on. Bebo's still here saying, we got to be honest. He was the first face we saw, so that's why they're tougher on him.
Kind of.
I don't. I understand the mentality. I don't give a shit. Right now, I'm focused on my constitution, my rule of law, and the precedent set by the Democrats as buildings and cities burned over this summer.
And they did, yeah, and they cheered it.
They cheered it, and meanwhile, we have a disgruntled American citizen who was most likely, often than not, more likely than not, invited into the Capitol building, who got a few photo ops, who didn't, to our own recollection and our own records, break or harass or do anything violent or uncouth, and he's in jail. He is behind bars, literally as a symbol to the rest of us. And how are we going to take that symbol? Are we just going to accept it? Are we simply going to let it continue? Bebo again comments, like, for example, Nick was in there with another PB and took a picture with them, and they have not arrested the other guy. Again, I don't care. I am beyond caring at this point, because Nick and Q Shaman are second class citizens to Antifa. And that is extremely disturbing. And everyone should be disturbed and outraged by that fact. Apparently, Bebo's going to come on. He should know where to find the find the link. He is in our Discord. So Bebo will be on in just a second. So
Okay.
hang tight for that.
Can we
So
go over NRA?
Yeah, go ahead real quick.
There's more than one type of bankruptcy. What the NRA is doing is a restructuring bankruptcy. Now, Donnie's done like dozens of these over the years, so this is not a new thing. What it's allowing them to do basically is to dump their office building in New York for, well, they're not going to lose any money on dumping the building and losing shit tons of money as they make the transition to Texas.
So
So,
they're
yes,
so this bankruptcy is just them moving to Texas, basically.
it is entirely, not even basically, just entirely about the
Okay.
move to Texas. And they're going to lose their shirt, especially on their office building, because they still owe millions of dollars to the bank on the loan they took. But the office building is worth millions of dollars. So
I
basically,
see.
they're going to let the courts figure out how to break the money up, and they're just walking away from a building they can't keep and can't afford to pay for.
I see. So this is just them relocating to Texas.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's depressing because honestly, I don't think that they have been defenders of the Second Amendment throughout their entire history to my satisfaction. I mean, if you look at what they supported the banning machine guns. They've supported banning a host of um, of firearm legislation that restricted our ability for the American citizen to wield military grade weaponry, which we should be. We
No,
should,
we
Yep.
as
should not.
Americans. Why?
What?
Okay, okay. Make your case for that because I
Okay.
could not disagree more. But go on.
All right. You say you need an M16?
No, I don't need it. I should have a right to own one.
Okay, okay. All right. You should have, well, great. Then I should have a right to own phosgene gas.
Sure.
What? Do
Why
you
not?
realize how ridiculous that statement is?
Well, okay. Why not?
I can okay, I can have a phosgene artillery shell. Just leave it there in public, and if I feel threatened, I can use it. Bear in mind, I'm mandatory carry, not mom's demand.
Okay.
I really do think you should have to carry a gun or get a $200 fine each and every day. And I'm saying you don't need phosgene gas to defend yourself.
That is true on a civilian level. However, you have to understand when the Second Amendment was written, it was for the intent of the civilian being capable to repel the military. That was the intent.
No, actually, that's a continuing fallacy, and since you brought it up, I'm going to crush it now. The first purpose of the Second Amendment was to enable the people to defend themselves, because most of the people were still living out on the frontier
Okay. Did defend
and
themselves against what?
against actually Indian and what they used to call wildmen attacks primarily. During the Revolution, there was actually an Indian raid at Cherry Valley, New York. I believe it was New York, that
Okay.
ended up in a slaughter of 40 people. Go
Okay.
ahead, look it up.
Well, they also just finished literally a revolutionary war against a tyrannical government. And they also had just recovered from the British being able to enter and disarm the American
Yeah,
civilians just carte blanche. Wasn't
then
this
they've been doing that.
what wasn't the Second Amendment more geared to fight to fend off the Quartering Act more so than it was some Indian invasion or
No.
some Indian raid?
If it was about the Quartering Act, there wouldn't be a Sixth Amendment, I believe it is.
No, it's the Fourth Amendment, but they go hand in hand. Like
Thank
I
you.
don't think that we can assume that the Second Amendment was based on the on an Indian raid when they also
It
just finished a
wasn't
Revolutionary
one.
War.
The foundation of the Revolutionary War was actually written like 20, sorry, years later during the French and Indian War, when the British Army never came to North America. They were in Europe fighting France. Uh, French allied Indians and trappers were raiding villages in British villages. So those British villages had to defend themselves from these raids. There were some really nasty massacres. I won't talk about the things on open circuit. There was some
Okay,
really, like, what we call today flat out war crimes being
of course.
committed, and it was both sides. So let's not get too far ahead. But after that, the colonists said, "We're not going to disarm. We're going to form our own militias. We're going to defend ourselves." And Britain said, "Oh, um, well, you're forming these militias, and you have your countrymen who are talking about seceding from the no, no, no. You need to hand in those guns now." And
Uh-huh.
that got a big part of that snowball rolling.
Well, yeah,
But it
and like,
starts with the French and Indian War.
well, yes, but it didn't stop there. It also snowballed into Revolutionary War, and after the Revolutionary War, you have privateers who literally had private
Yep.
gunships and cannons.
Yes.
So,
Oh, yes.
I mean, I am not of the opinion that the average citizen should be defenseless to a tank. Like I think that as an American citizen, you at least should have the opportunity to have anti-tank weaponry. That's you shouldn't
Okay.
use it
Let me
obviously
ask you a stupid
on a
question.
daily basis, but go
No,
on.
no, no, no. Let me ask you a stupid question. You
Okay.
now have your right to your M16.
Okay.
Okay. Or let's scale it down a little bit. Let's say Mac 10. Sound good?
Sure.
Okay. A little more handy for walking around town, right?
Sure.
Some guy pulls a knife and is demanding your wallet. What do you do?
Okay.
No, answer the question.
Wait, what? Well, repeat the
A man
question.
pulls a knife and demands your wallet. What do you do?
I defend my property.
Okay. How?
Um, however I deem necessary, whether I shoot him,
How?
whether I
Okay, so you're going to shoot him with an automatic weapon.
okay, why not?
Every one of those bullets leaves that gun and hits something sooner or later.
Okay.
One of those somethings is a 19-year-old college student who was 30 feet behind the mugger, and he's not dead. He's not crippled for life, but he's going to the hospital. That came out of your bullet or out of your gun.
Okay. The bullet wouldn't have left
Okay.
the gun if not for the mugger. That charge should be on his head.
Well, that's still your responsibility. Did you choose a
Of
good
course.
backstop?
Well, why would you use a body penetrating round in public on a mugger? That wouldn't be the
Because
only
you
weapon you have on you, right?
body first of all, because no such thing as a body penetrator. That's a new one on me. But anyway,
Well,
you you
most Full Metal
squeeze the
Jacket rounds
trigger
will
on
go
your
through a
gun.
body.
You squeeze the trigger on your gun. At the end of the day, that was the decision you made. One of
Yes,
your
but that
bullets
isn't.
went.
But we're presuming that
One of
that would be the
your
weapon I would
bullets
be carrying
still
on
struck a
public.
third party.
Okay, so okay, I'm accountable for that. I should go
Well,
to
yeah.
jail with the guy who mugged me.
Well, I guess so. I guess you're gonna. enjoy being in jail because you defended life with excessive firepower.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Now,
Life is dangerous.
you don't need to
Well,
add to the problems. It comes back to my
no.
phosgene
No.
argument.
Look.
Can I not defend my
I'm
life with the phosgene shell?
No, it's not about your life. It's about your property. It's about your dignity as a human, as an American citizen. You should
Your
have the
life and
ability
your
to
property
defend
is
again.
well enough defended with the semi-auto. You, if you
I
think,
I disagree. I think that
well,
every American should have the opportunity to defend themselves against military grade weaponry. That is my stance on it.
okay, Boomer.
Yep.
Bro, I can't agree with this one, Carnal. You wild.
I am. I am. I am very much a fan of the mad philosophy. Anyone who I think that the government should go against the citizenry with mutually assured destruction being a sound doctrine.
Well, see, I think you should like on the armored side. I think you should be able to possess. I think you should be able to possess armor. Like if you want a bulletproof car, I think you should be able to have that. But I don't
You
think you
should.
should. I don't think you should be able to have like rocket launchers and stuff.
No.
You know,
No. Hang on. Let's be honest. The Vegas shooting would not have happened. The mass shooting at Vegas would not have happened if he knew there was a chance of a rocket launcher being shot back at his face.
yeah, but like you
Oh,
might
yes,
have,
you would have.
you might have blown up like half the freaking rooms next to him too.
No,
with,
you
How
would
many
blow up
lives
half
would have
the
been saved?
building.
Carnal,
Yes.
with a like RBG, those fucking rockets, they are fucking delicate.
Yeah, they're not that accurate
Uh-huh.
sometimes too. You gotta be very well trained.
Then they need some range practice. I'm not morally opposed.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't.
Fucking hell, Carnal.
I wouldn't trust the average everyday just citizen with a rocket launcher or RPG.
Yeah, no.
I wouldn't
Even
trust
mandatory
un-American.
carry
anyone
is
with that
saying
thing.
no. Does that not give you a clue? Like
Wait,
runner right now would, in my ideal world, runner right now would be committing a misdemeanor.
Like I said though, on the armor side, like bulletproof. If you want an armored car, man, I'm completely
Yeah.
fine with that. You know, but like the offensive side of it, man, I can't support that. These people, they'll be blowing their self up, man.
That's not true.
Actually,
I don't believe that. I don't believe that the majority of armed Americans who buy firearms and are part of the NRA and are avid gun users or users of their right to bear arms, I don't think that they would be the people rapidly blowing shit up in the street. Like, I don't see that. I'm sorry, but
I
the
do.
evidence is out. No, what?
Well, no, actually, I don't see them carrying RPGs around, but I do see them. If you opened up that box, they'll carry around automatic weapons everywhere, and they will spray and pray. That is, and get Roy in here. Let's get Roy in here. Is he in the chat? He's
I
not in
don't
the
think
chat,
he
is he?
is. I don't think he
Come in.
is. I tried to get him on, but he I think he went to bed, and God bless him for that.
Yep.
I mean, where do you stop though? Then can you then have a like a Apache helicopter? You know what I'm saying? Like, where does it stop?
Don't give him ideas.
Americans
He's
Oh,
already
no.
answered
own
that question, by the way.
tanks. Last I checked, you can privately own a tank. You can. I'm pretty sure you can privately own an Apache if it's decommissioned. If you have the money for it.
Well, I'm saying, what's the point of decommissioning it if you're gonna allow people to have RPGs? You know, like what the heck? Might as well go.
Exactly.
Oh,
Americans should have the right to defend against military grade weaponry. This is the point.
Cool. Then, great. I want my nuke.
there you go. There you go.
How do you
Where's
defend
it?
now?
my nuke.
Now, hang on.
You said I have a right to military grade hardware, so I want my nuke.
So how do you defend against a nuke? Is the question.
With another nuke. Don't you know? You just said it. Mutually
Deterrent.
assured
I
destruction.
do.
That's what they say is the deterrent.
You're correct. I stand by that. I honestly do.
Oh man.
I believe that we live in a mad world already. It's just a matter of whether or not you're willing to accept it.
Yeah, you're definitely a right winger for sure.
Uh-huh.
I want my nuke. I want to be able to defend against a nuke.
Absolutely.
Because
I support your right to own it.
Eric Swalwell did say he was going to nuke us. So
yeah, hang on. You just brought up another point of hypocrisy, and I can't emphasize this enough. The guy who was caught sleeping with the Chinese spy is now in charge of finding of being part of the Homeland Security Task Force for domestic terrorism, meaning every Trump supporter is now unpersoned. We're all domestic terrorists. Really wrap your head around this shit.
No, I'm not going to try.
Well, they've been headed. Do you remember a couple years back, like 5 years back, when they released like a 72-point bulletin of like who are likely domestic terrorists, and it was all like, you know, basically right wing, you know, talking. They were basically labeling like right wingers, you know.
I don't remember this.
Yeah, every domestic terrorist report says the largest threat to our national security is white supremacy and white nationalists, and you're just like, where the fuck are these people? We have how many attacks from Muslims, from the left, from Antifa going among. Where are the white nationalists blowing shit up? Is what I want to know. But apparently,
honestly, if I could point back to anything, I could blame them because they all seem to be military. Even look at all the people that were arrested at the Capitol. They were like veterans or ex-police, you know.
Well, I mean,
from the day Barack took office the first time round till now, there has been exactly 2 right-wing terror incidents. One of them was not a white supremacist.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, 3. I forgot.
3.
Yeah, I forgot San Bernardino. There were 3.
Okay.
One was Pulse nightclub.
Muslims. Okay. Go on.
One was
but wasn't Pulse nightclub an Arabic guy?
Yeah, Muslims.
Yes.
Muslims.
Yeah. One was Inland Regional Center, San Bernardino.
Also Muslims.
Married couple. And
Muslims.
Workplace violence. She had worked there and been terminated because the 2 of them were just fucking crazy. And
who was the third?
A Jewish center. What about it was in New Jersey?
What about the black church? You remember that one? That was a white boy. I remember.
Wasn't that in New Zealand or something?
No.
No.
It was like a
Baptist
church.
I know what he's talking about. Stop. That guy was not in any way a conservative.
But he was like a white supremacist or something.
What?
They consider him like a white supremacist or something.
No. Who's saying he's a white supremacist? Because I want to call that guy a liar to his face.
Well, mandatory. Here's the problem. Someone with the leftist ideology could go on a shooting spree, and our media will call it right wing because they used a firearm.
Yeah. And I want to call that guy a liar to his face too.
Yeah, but you have to understand, when they've compiled these reports, there is a leftist bias slant because they're using sources like the ADL and the SPLC to say, oh, let's get all of our data right. And it's data from the ADL. It's data from the SPLC. where it's
Yeah.
bullshit. Where anytime a gun is used, it is quote unquote right wing violence, and it is a load of shit. So allegedly, according to our government, white nationalism is on the rise, and it's the largest threat to this nation, despite our lying eyes telling us that most violence is coming from Black Lives Matter, Antifa, and all of these other, non-American groups like the jihadis. And so again, uh, that's where we're at right now.
Well, to give them credit, they did arrest that Daniel Allen Baker today, and he was leftist. I don't know if you guys been following that at all.
I have no idea what you're talking
Please
about.
do tell. Who is this?
This guy down in Tallahassee, Florida, was making violent threats against Trump supporters, saying he was going to show up at either the inauguration coming up or the January 6th or something. But he was kicked out of the military for violent things too. But he was his name's Daniel Allen. He just got arrested today, so it's very. But he was just
Addison 2.0.
Well, I don't know. He was I just looked him up. Army Airborne Infantryman. He was kicked out of the service and had a history of expressing violent tactics. So, and they arrested him just for putting basically posts online. So,
I'm actually
Arrested
not cool
or
with
detained?
that. But
no, he's arrested.
Actually, arrested as in they think he committed a crime, not detained as in they think he's bonkers and going to go off the deep end.
Yeah, no, they charged him with a criminal complaint.
Wow.
for posting online.
Yeah. For basically just posting stuff on. I mean, I think they're using this to come after everyone. Is my personal opinion.
Well, yes.
Well,
At some point, everybody says something that's bonkers.
I mean,
exactly.
Dude, look at Cantwell still. Whether you like Cantwell or not, he's sitting in prison. What did he end up getting? 45 months or something?
Wait, Cantwell?
Who? Yeah, Chris Cantwell.
What did he say?
Well, he said he was going to show up at some guy that was trolling him, and he said he was going to rape his wife or something. But the threat was impractical. The guy was across country. Cantwell wasn't going to show up and rape his wife. You know what I'm saying? It's a threat that's not, to me a threat you have to have
credible.
Yeah, it's a non-credible threat. It's the same thing how the left. There was a Detroit city councilwoman that made basically an incitement to violence here, and the left's argument is, well, it's not really an incitement of violence because she has no pull. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing.
She's a member of a city council and she has no pull. That's a fucking lie.
Yeah, but they're saying Trump. They're saying that Trump comes out and says don't commit violence, and they're saying he's inciting violence. You know what I'm saying? It's almost the same. It's the same argument as when they say blacks can't be racist. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and did you get there was an expose on Gab about the police officer, the Secret Service member who shot Ashley Babbitt? Have you guys seen that?
Nope.
This security, I don't know what agency he works for. I don't remember if he's Secret Service, CIA, or FBI. However, this particular individual was the same guy who was negligent on duty and let Senator Scalise get shot. He's a rabid anti-Trump advocate. He's pro-Black Lives Matter. He has all of these benchmarks for being a radical and being a partisan political violent activist, and yet he still has his job. He's still working, and he shot an innocent woman dead.
Okay, I gotta stop your train right there. How do you know any of these things that are in his head? How do you know he's BLM and Antifa supporter and any of that other?
They show his social media. Like they show all of the posts that he said about it. Let me see if
And
I
you're
can
sure
go
it's the
find it.
same guy?
Yes, it is the same guy.
Huh?
Let me get the let me see if I
That's
can
not
find the
good.
link. No, it's not good at all. It's it's double
That's a
standard.
fireable offense by itself. Having social media as a member of
Yeah,
Secret Service is a fireable offense.
Yeah, you shouldn't have social media if you're Secret Service.
yeah,
It is one thing to have the keys to the corporate account, and it is a corporate, whether you like that word or not. It is a corporate. It's one thing to have the keys so you can go on Twitter and say, the president threatened, but he's fine now, or we're recruiting, or whatever. It's something else to have your own account and be expressing those opinions, knowing that that is going to cause your employer problems, like now.
Yeah, I mean
That's
anyone
why they're
really,
banned from having them. What?
anyone in the police field, or I don't think that you should have a, social media. You're risking your job for sure.
Well, yeah. Um, as far as I know, though, only Secret Service and certain parts of the FBI and CIA members are actually banned from having uh, Facebook, Twitter, or any of that. They're the only ones.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
why Dan Bongino had to resign before he started his account,
and doing his
before he
stuff.
started what he was doing.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about. I interviewed Nick Oakes actually almost 1 year to the day that now that he was arrested, and he lost his job for having a Proud Boy tattoo. With Judge Janine, he met Judge Janine Pirro, and she got him fired because he had a Proud Boy tattoo. And then, so I did an interview with him almost 1 year ago, exactly to the day, and we discussed. I tried telling him, like, even some small people like us, like, I don't think if you're trying to be a talking head, I don't think you should go to the rallies. Like, I think you're a lightning rod, especially if you get bigger. Like Nick's been on. Nick's the producer for Milo, so he's on Milo's show quite often, and then he's on the. I don't know if you guys are familiar with, like, the Murder the Media, the Proud Boys got their little thing, and he's got a show on there called the Nick Oakes Report. So I think whenever you're doing something, even like what I'm doing, that's why I try to avoid rallies, like, because, like, they're going to try to make an example out of you if you're out, on social media
Yeah.
speaking about, like,
Oh
I think.
my! Hang on, guys.
Go ahead.
Hang on. The guy who filmed and was standing next to Ashley Babbitt, he's from New Jersey. They arrested him just for standing next to her as she was shot and killed.
Yeah, they're arresting. From what I heard, they're trying to arrest anyone that entered the building. Is what I heard. And look at our country. Did you see the amount of tips that came in? 150,000 since the day of it. Like, holy cow! Everyone's just turning in anyone.
Turn
Yeah,
me in,
actually,
please.
yeah. There's an article by USA Today. I did a video on this where they ask for any and all input on people who allegedly attended the Capitol Hill. So you can fill out a form pointing USA Today to people who are allegedly suspected of attending that rally and that event. So go ahead and fill in whoever you think you saw there at your own leisure.
Yeah, well, and then
He's nuts.
when Amazon shut down Parler, they leaked everyone's account information, and there's this one guy putting it together, and there's actually, like, he's got he's putting together everyone's videos and stuff, like, as they were happening around the Capitol, and you can go to the website and see it, like, you know in real time, because Amazon, after they shut down the Parler account, they leaked something like 70 terabytes of people's info. So and what's horrible is like to get your check on Parler, you got to give your ID. You know what I'm saying?
There's no hiding that now.
Yeah. So now they're gonna have everyone's names, and just watch your they might try to steal your identity and stuff.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad I never succeeded in getting past Parler's password requirements then.
Well, no, that's only if you wanted a check. You had to show ID. Like you had to get a check, because on Parler, like, you couldn't start conversations with other individuals unless you had a check. It's like, it was weird. But it's getting crazy. Like you wouldn't believe. Like Sullivan, the guy that just got arrested. What's so ironic is they told him that he's got to go get a full-time job. And but on the right, they'll try to stop you from getting a job. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then I don't know if you guys followed. You guys know who Kurt Schilling is?
Heard the name.
He's a pitcher he used to be for the Red Sox and the
that's right.
Right. He's claiming that they cut his health insurance because of his political views, or life insurance or something. I don't know if
Oh my God.
Yeah, literally.
He's a conservative commentator now, right?
Right. Yeah, he's got a little podcast. I mean, he's got 250,000 followers or something. But he's claiming that they're cutting his AIG, cut his insurance, and then all the liberals started attacking him when he made the claim, and he's like, I literally tagged them in the post where I made this claim. He's like, you think I would do that if it wasn't true? He's like, they could be suing me for libel, and he's like, how come they won't comment on it? Because AIG won't respond.
Huh.
Oops.
So now if we're getting to this level where they'll freaking cut millionaires' insurance over their political beliefs, holy cow, we're going to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
We're gonna literally need a right-wing insurance company.
Yep.
Well, I don't know if you heard about it, Bebo. But I'm not sure if I sent this to you or not, but there is actually a push from some members of the Latter-day Saint Church to encourage the church to get into banking.
Yeah, I support it. Heck yeah!
I mean, we have the funds to make this happen, and it's not like.
Do you think the church would support the right wing? I think they would cut us off too if we're not.
I think they would not be foolish enough to go against freedom of speech and religious liberty.
I hope so.
That would be a dangerous press. I'll give them.
Yeah, it's because let's face it, with Donald Trump gone, organizations like the Mormon Church are surely next.
Well, that one website, Give, Send, Go, we need to do everything we can to try to keep them up. That's like our GoFundMe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
if they wipe out Give, Send, Go, then we're back to having no ability to raise money for the grassroots. Like Nick Oakes raised something like 17,000 for his defense, and I forget, Tario. He raised 120,000 or something, and Tario's literally facing 2 misdemeanors, and he raised 125,000.
Good Lord.
He's facing like $500 in fines, maybe like 6 months probation. Then he got 125.
What did he do?
What a hustle.
I think he's going to beat it too. Well, he came out and said he's the one that burnt the Black Lives Matter flag. And I don't even.
What?
I don't even think he did it. I think he just copped to it to be like the leader, and I think there's no I watched all the videos. Like I didn't see him do it at all. Like I know who he is. You know, I know his face, and I'm telling
That's
you,
leadership.
he didn't do it, and they arrested him just by him saying he did it.
That is real leadership. Copping to something you didn't do to protect the people that you're depending on to get the job done. All right,
Yeah, yeah.
that is real leadership.
Yeah,
You got to give that man some credit.
Enrique takes a lot of flack, but I like Enrique. He's all right.
Oh no, he's got my respect just for this,
Yeah,
especially since they could have made that into a felony if they wanted to.
yeah. They were
Really, like,
talking
get
about charging
stupid.
the people with a hate crime, but then they ended up not.
Good Lord.
But it would be hard to
Uh.
charge him with a hate crime because he's like Afro.
Yeah, good luck.
He's like Afro-Cuban or something, so he's like a black Cuban. So like, how you gonna charge a Cuban with a hate crime on black people? It don't make much sense.
No, it doesn't. All right.
Yeah.
Well, it's
so
not about making
on
sense.
so on the topic of the stream, like again, back to Enrique and Proud Boys and all that other stuff. Any other clear examples of the double standards of the left? Because blind justice is dead. Like if it's from anything that is even remotely non-left, it's going to get the book thrown at it. So,
Oh, yeah.
any more examples, gentlemen?
Well, my thing would be I would tell people not to wear anything that distincts you. Like the Buffalo guy, I think the Buffalo guy got it because he wore the costume. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's that.
You know, they want to make an example out of you. He became like the face of it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, I'll be back, gentlemen.
Look, when I was in boot camp, everybody had exactly the same clothes, walked
Right.
exactly the same way, moved exactly the same direction. Company commander did not pick out an individual recruit in a company.
Right, and that's
Wasn't gonna
that's
happen.
basically how Antifa does it.
Yeah, well, yes, that is exactly what they're doing. I remember I was watching the video of their attack on Andy Ngo, of all things, and seeing them all moving down the street. They're all wearing exactly the same thing. They're moving the same direction. They're moving at roughly the same pace until they start beating up on him. And that's why you can't tell them apart.
Well, it's the same thing with Nick Oakes. That's how he got caught because he's a pundit. He's trying to have his own little podcast thing, right? He's not huge. He's probably got like 5,000 followers or something. But he started Proud Boys Hawaii, right? So he's a leader of a state chapter. So he's putting a target on himself. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you're the producer for Milo, and you're doing the podcast for the Proud Boys. Like you I think you should separate your pundits from your grassroots, is my personal opinion. Like there should be even Alex Jones is doing it. He's going to the rallies now. You get what I'm saying? Alex Jones is actually, but you notice Alex Jones wasn't up at the front of the Capitol.
No. When did Proud Boys change their policy on that, by the way?
As far as what?
Homosexuals.
Oh, they've never been anti-homosexual. Yeah, like
But they didn't allow gays in at one point.
I don't know. I actually am a former PB, but like I haven't been in. I was in the first year it started, and that was it. So I don't. But I never knew of an anti. Like I heard people say things that were unsavory sometimes, but I never heard of a, rule. But when I was in like our state chapters were like nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like we had maybe like 15 people in each state. So you're in America mandatory?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So you're familiar with with the Proud Boys. I mean, dude, they're worldwide now, right? Did you?
No, actually, I'm not, and I'm really pissed about that.
Well, that you're not.
'Cause,
You don't know.
well, no, because I get second and third hand stories, um, and I know a lot of them are absolute bullshit. And I have to sit there saying, "Wait a second, I'm seeing a black guy sitting in this crowd of Proud Boys and saying they're racists."
Yeah,
Like,
no.
fucking, if you're gonna lie to me, at least use a photograph that doesn't prove the lie.
Well, like, I'm not going to sit here and say that there's not one person in the Proud Boys that's not a racist, right? You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm
Well,
sure, I'm sure
I'd
everyone,
call you a liar if you said it.
yeah, but like the tenets of the group is not based on race whatsoever. You know, like anyone can join, you know. And honestly, dude, I feel like in the Proud Boys, like if you join, like the black members sort of become like celebrities almost, you know.
Yeah, well, yeah, don't show me a picture of a black Proud Boy and tell me they're racist.
Yeah.
Come on, don't
No.
be fucking retarded.
Well, it's like on my podcast, Nick is married to a black woman.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, and but he get
Sure.
like right now, like my interview with him on my podcast is spiking because everyone's searching his name, you know, and I'm getting all these leftists coming in, you know, calling me names and him names, and you know, and this one was like, I was like, dude, he's married to a black woman. How's he racist? And then the guy's like, yeah, they both need therapy, right? And I'm like,
Oh my
okay,
God.
Oh,
right.
get called
Yeah.
out on your lie. Tell another lie.
Right.
Right.
And so then he says to me, he's like, you know, the slave master used to own the slave and they would sleep with the slave. And I'm like, dude, like that's a false dichotomy. Like you're comparing two people
Oh
married.
yes.
Like
Yes,
like
yeah.
how are you going to compare two people married to a slave situation?
Oh,
Feminism.
Colonel, I want to talk to you about that later.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough. And with that, I think we've covered this topic fairly well. Any lasting comments, gentlemen? Any shilling?
Fuck
Any?
you, John Sullivan.
There we go. That's what I like to hear.
I'm
And,
gonna pray for John Sullivan.
He needs to find a permanent solution to his temporary problems. Nobody's ever heard me use those words out loud. You've seen me write them down. You've never heard me say the words. Fuck you,
Fair
John
enough.
Sullivan. Find a new.
I
Mute my mic.
I honestly don't even blame the left. I blame the government and I blame the media because if they honestly they've brought it to this point now, and now everyone is not about who's right or wrong. Really, it's about who threw the first punch. You get what I'm saying?
No. It's about who's going to throw the last punch.
Yeah. Well, at this point. Yeah.
So with that, kids, we're going to sign off.
What I'm saying though is the government should have been tough on this at the beginning.
No shit. All right. Peace out, guys. Have a good night.
Good night.
God bless
Bye.
and stay
All right,
calm.
see ya, man.